I've got to entertain the people who, you know, didn't quite make it through school. It's tough, you know. How do you commentate at so many different levels to entertain the most people possible? And that's why sometimes we talk about the game, and sometimes we talk to Twitch chat, and sometimes I just make random noises. I'm like, ooh, oh, Clem! I'm sorry, Twitch chat. It's okay, right? Because I'm not actually singling anyone out, guys. No one's actually offended, because to you guys, you're all just the 200 IQ, right? Hell yeah. Beautiful. Guys, I just want to, HeroMarine bottom left. That's a great intro, by the way. Oh, Clem in the top right. Yeah, beautiful, Wardy. I'm just going to go quickly turn my light on, guys. So give me a moment, please, and let's go put some brightness in my room. I didn't realize how dark it was getting in here until the game starts. Like, hang on, I can barely see shit. All right, let's get this going and see. It's gonna be coming out of this game number 1 of this best of 3. Obviously, winner gets to the finals. I would say the winner here is probably favored in the finals. Whoever they end up against. Again, the number 1 seed from today is out. Reno playing off race, got knocked out round of 16, so that top section of the bracket is a little different to what I expect. I mean, for Jumi Alaza is the top quarterfinal, Spirit Neeb is the second quarterfinal. So the winners of those matches play each other in the semi, and then obviously the finals comes up after that. Don't get me wrong, it's not like it's not like they're bad players. It's just, I would say, against any of those guys on any given day, HeroMarine and Clem would typically be the favorite players. So I don't think that's too ridiculous to be saying or anything like that. As the Reaper comes in here and starts to fight the other Reaper. On someone's camera, that is doing a horrendous job of being zoomed in. Let's try this one instead. So a little bit of Reaper on Reaper, nothing comes of it. What are the builds here? 2 Reapers on the way now from HeroMarine, so he's got a reactor versus no reactor. And that's the main difference. So Clem's just going to get a 3rd Reaper and another Hellion production underway. HeroMarine will be able to go up to a lot more Reapers and a lot more Hellions very quickly, so definitely possible. I should only ever talk like that, what with the unts and grunts. But what can I say, you know, it's difficult to keep that up though, you know, it's difficult to translate unts and grunts into comprehensive English all the time, so. It's going to be, again, more Reapers still from HeroMarine, so going up to 5 and 3 Hellions. Again, 3 Reapers and a Hellion from Clem and a Widowmine. So that will be what helps him to defend against this initial wave of pressure that HeroMarine is about to bring to the table. You see a tech lab on both of the factory and the starports. That is coming up as well. That Widowmine at the front here is going to be set and ready to fire if those Hellions move forward, but the Hellions don't move forward just yet, so it doesn't happen for now. Reapers and the Hellions pulled back down to the south, just going to see the Cyclone coming through. Raven is now building. And a couple extra Marines are just going to be coming through as well. Some Marine Cyclone coming up on either side, and just going to be having the Raven about to pop on the side of Clem. And a Cyclone coming through too. Command Center drops down in the main base. And just going to be seeing the Reapers and the Hellions all joined up together, readying a push toward the natural expansion. I don't know, I mean, obviously HeroMarine seemingly doesn't want to go in or anything, so it's actually Clem as he moves out. He's going to have the Cyclone lock on to get a Hellion kill. No, oh, had to dodge back and loses it for a moment or two. Unfortunately, doesn't quite remain positive throughout there. Just going to see the Widowmine connecting. Oh, guys, we got a special visitor on the stream right now. We've got an Ellie who wants to play. Let me see if I can get some Ellie cam going on. while we watch 5 SCVs of HeroMarine going down. Oh, come on, Ellie, come. Oh, it's not meant to be full screen. Ellie, why are you full screen? No, Ellie. No. You were meant to be mini. You're meant to be like this size, Ellie. Too big, Ellie. There you go. There we go, Ellie. Good girl. You hitting yourself in the face with your tail. Wanna play toy? Like, hello, stream. Oh, she's like, guys, don't forget to subscribe with Twitch Prime. She's like, oh yeah, I whack my tail. Every time you guys subscribe with Prime, I whack my tail. Oh yes, I do. She's like, and I also get fed treats every time you guys subscribe with your Prime subs. So, yeah. Make sure, yeah, you're getting some free rags in now, guys, but it will stop until you Prime. Yep, Ellie is a business lady. Why does the camera stop moving? There we go. Sorry, guys. Ellie, pick a position to sit in. Oh, there we go. Good girl. She's like, what's going on? Like, are you using me to make money? Are you using me to make money, Dad? Yes, Ellie, I am. I'm trying to pay off your living expenses by selling you out on Twitch. She's like, screw that. Screw that, I'm out of here. Ay. Alright. Sorry, guys. Gotta take advantage of a bit of Ellie appearance when we can. We do have the tank at the front there from Clem able to zone out, and HeroMarine's attempted to press forward doesn't do much. And again, the Reaper Hellion all got traded out, the Cyclones too. We did a great job of watching that because I was trying to observe a puppy. HeroMarine's down about 8 SCVs in the game. Most of that came from that Raven just getting in the auto turrets, able to do very well there, so definitely doing reasonably. And now just going to be seeing more of this kind of setup because no one's going to attack into each other just yet. And it's going to be one of those TVTs where it's going to take a little while to really get going. So that's obviously rather nice. Because that means we're going to get a bit of late game TVT, which I'm always a fan of. I always think these guys are able to produce pretty fun TVTs, that's for sure. I actually feel like some of the best TVT is when you get that Clem HeroMarine kind of back and forth and they're trying to figure out how to break each other and stuff. One vehicle weapon starts from Clem. Everything's going to be a little bit ahead from Clem. The 1-1, for example, combat shields just by a little bit. His extra barracks are a little bit behind those, so advantages here, advantages, there from one side than the other. Yo, what's up, Pinkerson? Thank you so much for the 2-month resub. For Doggo people, subscribe. Nailed it, guys. Terratoad on the 21-month resub. See, guys. This is how we make the dollar bills. I don't talk about StarCraft. We just sell out on the doggo. We just sell out with the doggo. We'll be rich, and we'll spend it all on dog food. All right, extra CC coming down as we continue through. Just going to be having our army of HeroMarine still moving through the center. Marine tank into the middle here, and Viking as well. HeroMarine has been the player just be on the map a lot, right? Since the early game, he's the one that's always like, oh, is there an opportunity for me? Clem says, I want a Raven kill. Doesn't get it. Ravens are going to get Matrixes down. We're going to lose both the Ravens now, though. And HeroMarine is yet to siege. Clem has his own Ravens, but one goes down, the other survives. Yet to get any casts off, Clem. He's about to get his other tanks back online. He is going to be fighting back against this siege. He will be able to kill one tank in return. Obviously, still having one Raven alive is a pretty big deal because now he still can cast with it. And he's got the Viking lead as well, Clem, as he moves forward here. His Vikings are having a great time. The Raven goes down, though. Clem hasn't had a single Raven ability spell casted. It's not gone terribly wrong for him, even despite that, but obviously a real shame to be missing out on it as the Vikings now going to be coming through. Marines are stemming forward. SCVs are pulling to try and help Clem survive. He just needs a chance to get tanks and Marines in position. The Vikings land in a horrible place, stopping the Marines from getting forward. The Vikings should have gone further forward themselves before landing. Clem loses 20 SCV, but he cleans out so many units. He comes out with an army lead and only 8 workers down overall, so I would say that actually Clem comes out ahead of this, and he's about to finish 2-2. HeroMarine didn't bother with that, although HeroMarine is about to have extra starports. It's mayhem across the board in this TVT. Very fun set of fights, and very well handled. I just wish Clem had put his Vikings further forward before landing. It would have made that entire fight so much smoother from him. So much smoother. Caveman 491, thank you so much for priming up and supporting the channel. Thank you so very much. I think that's going to push us over 900 subs, guys. So thank you so much for helping us get back to 900 today. I really do appreciate it. Marines in the main, gonna drop in. Nice little drop from here. Marine Medevac only just survived getting in here. I believe Clem lost the Liberator there, so expensive is Clem gonna lose a 5th base as well, so that CC will go down. Again, here Marine benefiting from just being the player out on the map, taking position. Clem's gonna come fight this. Don't think so. Too many tanks siege up. I mean, at this weird stage where there's currently no Ravens on the map, and with no Ravens on the map, it's very difficult to break out of sieges because you usually rely on those Raven spellcasts to be able to initiate a fight and to break on through. Now Clem has a couple of Ravens joining up with his forces. But, yeah, definitely a weird moment or so when you don't have that ability. And if HeroMarine just gets set up somewhere, you kind of just have to accept it. You can see the first signs of what happens if you try and break out. You know, it just wasn't going to be pretty at all. We've seen the TT upgrades finally on the way from HeroMarine, and that's going to be trailing heavily behind Clem's 3-3. So Clem has a great upgrade lead. That's really amazing for him, of course. He's in a nice, strong position as the CC Marines tanks all beginning to move forward. A few Vikings on the far right side, trying to decide what they want to do as well. Marine tank pushing up, just going to be seeing the tanks will siege. Just going to see the command center dropping down as well. So again, that's set up. Another few tanks getting sieged up. A couple of SCVs going down across the map. A drop from Clem, and I love this. That's probably a dead base. I see SCVs coming forward to repair it, but that's just going to be dead SCVs. Unless we can save this command center now, that was a real waste. But there are Marines showing up. Clem loads up. He moves into the main base with all the Vikings. So yeah, this drop is going to get shut down now. Although the second medevac gets to live, he will target down a Viking, and he's going to lift and make an attempt at getaway. He's also moving through the middle of the map. Auto turrets going down, separating some of the tanks from the other Marines. Only kills one of the tanks then. Clem will eat the anti-armor missile. I don't think Clem wants this fight. He is surrounded a little bit. His tanks on the high ground hit by the tanks of HeroMarine on the low ground. Oh my goodness, absolute chaos breaking out. Absolute chaos breaking out over here as Clem maintains a good supply lead, though. That's the most important thing right now. That supply lead is heavily in Clem's favor still. 6 SCVs have gone down from HeroMarine. Gonna go pushing forward. Marine's trying to come through. Those tanks gonna siege up, and anti-arm missile from Clem is very good. Obviously, being able to keep his Ravens coming online and keep Ravens building is huge, and this fight goes way better for Clem. It's almost like anytime someone tries to fight, it goes really well for the other guy. The defender's definitely coming out on top here, as this so often happens in TVT, right? It's a pretty natural effect to see. Tanks unsieging, moving around, maybe going to come through the center here, Clem. Just going to be, see what he wants to do. Obviously, HeroMarine has a 5th base coming down as well, still trailing about 20 army supply, a bunch of workers. 3-3 is very behind as well. HeroMarine has just been trailing a lot of this game. It's been a while since he's been able to take some steps back up into this game and, you know, get back into it in general, so. I see the smart servers coming up. The starport still coming through from Clem, by the way, as well, so get those online, and that armory coming through too. Vikings, tanks, Marines, Ravens. HeroMarine will be looking to remax. He's losing a few SCVs. I have no idea where. Just, I guess, Liberators? But did he know? I think he just blew them up himself. I think he killed his own workers to make more room for army supply. Yeah. Looking around everywhere, it's like, wait, what? Huh? The thing is, it was like 4 and 4, so I imagine it was just siege tank splash damage on like 2 groups of 4. And he's just giving it up so he has more. Yeah, I think he just wanted more army supply, which is interesting because you'll have more army supply for each fight now. But Clem's obviously choosing to stay on a higher worker count himself. Means that HeroMarine really needs to take good fights with that higher army supply. Clem's going to have a bit more rebuildability. HeroMarine actually kills 9 more SCVs. He's going to have a huge army supply lead. That's pretty notable, right? That's very notable. Marines stem in. They're going to go for this base. He's been set up here for a while. So SCVs will not be able to repair it. Clem's going to lose some Marines here. Yeah, not too many if he escapes with most of them. That should be okay. Let's see, the tanks from Clem have moved up, and he's going to deny the 5th base of HeroMarine. So now HeroMarine is losing SCVs he didn't want to kill, and that's awkward. HeroMarine just killed off a bunch of SCVs to make room for army supply. Suddenly, he doesn't actually have enough SCVs to, rebuild his army supply. He can't max out right now. Not that the SCVs would have helped, because obviously he's just not got the bases to mine from. 1 orbital floating over to the 3rd, the 5th base gone. Sorry, the 4th, not 4th is where he's floating over to, and then the 5th base is gone. So it's not just an SCV count issue, though. It really is. Obviously, the base is going down is a pretty huge problem. More Vikings, couple of Ravens still coming up. We do see an anti-armor missile landing on a bunch of tanks. Marines still stimming through, and oh god, auto turrets will try and come down here to block this off. Marines still coming forward, a couple of auto turrets dropping down. Ravens going in. I mean, this is HeroMarine trying to take advantage of his huge army supply lead. Clem will try and repair this planetary force to stay alive. Clem's army supply is down. He's got auto turrets that are currently fighting, but when they disappear, what's going to be left? I mean, Clem has so many Vikings, but does he have anything after the Vikings? Oh god, I mean, 20, 30 army supply lead for HeroMarine. He's still pushing forward. Clem just needs to live. Clem doesn't have much money left right now either, and I really am worried about the fact that he's just got so many Vikings. Ravens dying as they spawn. Clem will try and hold the high ground. How much is HeroMarine going to be able to get done with this? As I love this, what the Vikings do now, picking away at these medevacs will really open the door to potentially just get rid of the Marines. Clem's army supply is catching up. He's building Liberators. He knows he's got a huge air lead. Libs are somewhat of a guarantee to be able to push this army around and to negate it a little bit. He's going to find the Ravens over here trying to make a play. Anti-armor missile lands. Clem's just going to desperately siege tanks on the ramp, and I don't think HeroMarine will get further forward than that. However, a lot of the Clem Liberators I was just talking about that I loved are on the low ground and are being denied. He needs some libs from another starport. Once he gets them, he can push back these tanks. He can deal with this problem. But until then, he's in trouble. He's going to have a couple popping out of the main base, and that is huge. And the thing is, I don't think HeroMarine has any way to dive on these Liberators either. Like, you can't bring the Marines up or anything. He doesn't have, like, the Vikings he can just give up to try and get rid of them. He can't do anything about them at all. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, obviously it's going to be slow going, trying to push back out of this base here. But it's going to start happening as Clem's going to just not quite kill a tank there. And Clem does have the top left in his own control, and that's going to be pretty huge for him. He's building up new CCs over there. And again, as this Liberator count increases, I'm not sure what HeroMarine's plan becomes. He needs to deal with this air control somehow, but he's only building Marine tank, looking to try and just overwhelm. Stars stem through. The tanks of Clem are staying siege. These Liberators cannot come soon enough as the Marines are being threatening. Yep, the tank's going to unsiege again now. Clem can maybe move forward again. Trying to use the Vikings to keep an eye on what's happening. He's got a Raven as well, so he's got a little bit of spell casting to aid situations, and Clem finally going to really regain control of this position. Took a little while. The Liberators were the key. Again, I said he's got so many Vikings, what can he do with those? But they provide coverage for the Liberators. They gave the Liberators a chance to shine. That's what the Vikings did in the end. Yeah, they maybe weren't immediately useful in that big fight. Don't get me wrong, they did clean out Ravens, Vikings of his opponents. He shot down some medevacs, but it's opening up the pathway for these libs to be successful. It's really changed this. However, Clem still has this base over here that's now under fire. HeroMarine is re-establishing based on his own side of the map. This is going to become problematic yet again. The top left base, does go down. It's going to be seeing the tank sieging up. Just going to be moving forward again. Tanks in here are going to unsiege immediately. Clem's gone back into Raven production, knowing that those Ravens are going to be an important part of continuing through. He's going to try, he wants to try and save this base. He's got a Liberator that's going to try and hunt those tanks down. It's just going to take a little while. As the one tank that sieges in range of a planetary, Vikings get a chance to get a bit of damage done. And this is the main army of HeroMarine over here, and I mean, he's not moving these tanks. These Libs are actually going to get a bunch of shots off. One tank, two tanks going down quickly. Marines straight forward. Now the auto turret's coming down, or trying to come down. The Vikings might want to land. He's just going to intercept coming down this ramp. The Marines clean up the tanks. HeroMarine kills the base on the left side. Clem does have other CCs available. And oh no, these tanks, they just get away. Lifting into medevacs to make their escape. The Vikings and the Libs, though, shooting down everything that lives in the sky. And I think Clem's obviously now going to push forward and make a pretty big play on the bases of HeroMarine. So all that HeroMarine has done, Clem is about to do himself on his own push across the map with an army that might just not be stopped. Big fight breaks out. A lot of Marines are low HP. HeroMarine doesn't even live to see all of his units die. That is going to do it, and Clem takes the 1-0 on this best of 3. Wow. TVT in the lead of the best of 3 in the top right-hand side, our red Terran player. Let's hear it for Clem. Bottom left, our blue Terran. From Mouse Sports, it's HeroMarine. So, get this set up and see what happens. Excuse me. As we get into game number 2. I don't even know what to expect after that first game. I mean, it was honestly a pretty cool game, right? Clem definitely had the advantages. He had the lead early. HeroMarine tried to have map control. It didn't really do enough for him. HeroMarine kind of definitely ended up in a bad spot, but then he realized, well, my one opportunity is to push right now, and his push was terrifying, and Clem nearly got checkmated, right? If, like, Clem can't get Libs out, his Vikings just can't win the fight, and so Clem loses. If his production in the main goes down, like, holding the main was huge for Clem. And obviously, when he held there, the game got reset a little bit, and that obviously became, yeah. That obviously became then his eventual push out. Eventually, Clem's army was better because he had Viking Lib. And that's how it should have been, but obviously he just didn't have the Libs initially the first time around when he won with the Vikings. And that's what gave HeroMarine the opening. And it's just such a cool game because you can just see how they're trying to really expose each other. You can see how they're trying to really make it, you know, make each other work for it, right? Very cool stuff. Naruto lagging out for a moment. Naruto's the new mill. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that serious just yet. Plane's popping out. Marauder Hellion continuing coming through. His mixer died. Oh my god, I had that the other day, and when you reset it, it fucking resets everything. I swore, sorry guys. I swore because it peed me off, quite frankly. It's going to be seeing Concussive Shells finishing. It's going to be the Hellion Marauder play. Clem loves this build, but to me, this build was almost out of date. Hadn't seen it in a hot second, so here we go. Something a little bit different from Clem that isn't really different compared to what he used to do. Let's see how this goes. HeroMarine, tank on the way, Raven on the way. If these Marauders can hit the Cyclone and slow that Cyclone down right from the start, that's going to be a big part of this. Getting the jump on these units is huge from Clem. As the Cyclone's going to get hit. Cyclone is locked onto, is going to get taken down. The medevac survives. Okay, HeroMarine targets that down with a couple of Marines at least. SCV's pulling in to survive this, and Clem is doing some very good initial damage. Nice little Reaper Grenade, and he's got a few Hellions to work with on the tail end of this. And he will micro those well to actually keep, keeping them alive to some extent is nice, because obviously having some army in case of a counterattack is great. 8 SCVs went down. He killed the Cyclone, which is a big early game unit. Of course, it cost Clem the initial investment. It cost Clem the medevac. And Clem's now later on his Raven, and I believe HeroMarine should be able to send his first Raven across the map and maybe try and deal some damage with an auto turret, unless he's very afraid of a counter, or a follow-up attack. But I don't know what follow-up attack you could really do from here. That would be super effective right now after that initial opening. What's up, Flipper Flapjack? Thank you so much for the 100 bits. Thank you for the games. Thank you so much for the love. Appreciate the bits. Raven coming up in the main. Tank is in production, and a couple of Reapers just sat off on that right-hand side at the moment. As the Raven continues to trickle along. Siege tank coming through. And again, the CC from HeroMarine into the main base right now. And set up for the moment, so there's going to be a push into the center. Clem is actually on the offensive. I'm very surprised HeroMarine's Raven just stayed at home. Like, a lot of the time, I don't like Ravens going out on the map. I feel like if there was ever a time for a Raven to go out on the map and just try and pick up some damage on the counter, I really feel like this was probably it, right? Like, to me, this was that opportunity. This was that chance to get forward and to, you know, just drop an auto turret, bring it back home, right? You don't have to risk it too much. Just get a couple SCVs, nice and mighty, and just take that step back into the game. Gonna see how Hellions will chase for the Reaper. They get it. Obviously, he stays away from the tank shot, which is nice. A little bit of fortune there, because obviously very easy to that to go too far forward and to eat that tank shot. So, yeah, nice little save for sure. Just gonna see the units from Clem rotating around the left. We got 2 Ravens into the main. Oh. What's he going to do? Whoa, he's going to auto-turret the reactor. Oh, it's kind of cute, right? Because the reactor is a huge part of what you like to do generally in this matchup, which is to get a, air control. Interesting, obviously, you choose the reactor. He probably could have had Stim if all 3 auto-turrets were in range of the tech lab. But doesn't quite get that. He is in the mineral line, killing with Hellions and the Cyclone. SCVs are just dying off, man. Jeez, 7 kills. Well, big push at the front right now from HeroMarine. He's very late on the initial matrixes. Auto turret's going down, though. This is why he should be able to win out a little bit, but I mean, these tanks are on siege. SCVs are going to push their way forward, and with a spread, Clem got his tanks out of matrix, and once they're out of matrix, he is good. I'm not sure about the continued chase now. He gets a Raven, though. He gets that tank. Clem, at what point we're going to bring these SCVs back home? I mean, they can only go so far. He's got a lot of SCVs not mining. The worker kills count goes to 9. And SCVs in total on the map actually even out. But Clem is about to be... I mean, he's well on his way to 1-1. HeroMarine does start up a faster 4th and 5th barracks again. It's not the first time that's happened in this series. It happened last game as well. It was the one thing HeroMarine had in his favor. His own third's moving out. And dare I say that we actually come out of this pretty much even across the board? I kind of feel like we do. It's just pretty even, like I say. I mean, the worker count's even, army supplies are even. Wow. Well, it's obviously a crazy set of fights as well, right? So, pretty neat to come out in an even position, all said and done. I'm going to be seeing the 1-1 upgrades coming through on those engineering bays still. Clem scans across the map, gets a read on just how the third base of his opponent is doing here. And it's pretty healthy, right? He's like, okay, again, it's saturated and stuff, so you're pretty much maybe a few steps behind, a few seconds behind me or something. Nothing too crazy. Starport lifts off, is going to go and build a reactor, so we'll get a Another reactor going, of course. The one thing I will say for HeroMarine is he's just not really got much Viking control. He's only got 3. Clem has 5. They both have a Raven each. So a little bit of air control still in, I suppose, Clem's favor, but it's not super crazy. And if Clem had kept on building Vikings, it might have been a bigger deal. Obviously, HeroMarine having to build a reactor on his starport now is going to slow him down from the first set of medevacs. That's something that Clem doesn't have to currently deal with. His medevacs are already on the way, so that's going to be an advantage Clem. That little bit of tech will make his Marines that little better. Maybe some drop play could be effective. You can see they both know what's good to do in this matchup as Sensor Towers go up on the 3rd about the same time. Clem is hunting this army down as HeroMarine's going to be forced to siege and fight. Clem's going to land the Vikings. Just everything needs to go in his way, right? This is just one of those fights where you just want everything possible to just join in on. HeroMarine's dropping in the main base, so while HeroMarine loses the fight out on the map, he is going to win the fight in the main, and Clem's losing a lot of SCVs already. Clem loses the tank that was meant to help defend this, and Clem's going to continue taking losses. SCVs are drilling their way through this siege tank, trying to get as good a surround as possible. The tank's still alive! 17 SCVs dead from Clem. HeroMarine will lose the medevac. Clem's already across the map, though. How many SCVs can he kill here? He's 12 SCVs behind going into this fight. He needs to kill probably at least 12 to then even this out, but he is going to be losing tanks and so on in the process. These couple tanks firing away at the very end. That Viking's going to kill a bunch more SCVs. Jeez, it's real good from Clem, isn't it? 18 workers killed. He's going to take a worker lead on the back end of this one. And HeroMarine pretty much cleaned up. HeroMarine has a Raven top side that just didn't get shot down by the Viking earlier, by the way. That was a little unfortunate. Jeez. Yo, what's up, KJ? Thank you so much for the 57-month resub. Hope I'm doing well. I'm doing good, mate. Hope you're doing well also. Hope life is treating you good. As the CC of Clem going to get up to 12 o'clock. Marine tank at the front. 3 more SCVs going down. You know what that is? It's the freaking Raven that survived on like 1 HP from earlier. As the Marines get it. No, the auto turret got down. What? That's nutty. The Raven was dead, and then the auto turret showed up. Clem losing a couple more workers. Still ahead by 8. But down a lot of army supply. Oh, that's a huge catch for Clem, though. He's going to get a few Marines at least. Doesn't get the medevac. That's a huge catch from Clem. He doesn't have to deal with it again to his base, and it just helps him to take a slight step back into the army supply counter in this game, which was the one thing, like I say, he was definitely trailing on right then. Marines unloading as HeroMarine comes around the far left side of the map now, so changing up his direction a little bit. It's going to be seen Marines and tanks are continuing their way through. I mean, HeroMarine, we know he wants to fight. He knows, I think, that he's got the army supply lead after that fight bottom left. He definitely seems to know that that's something he can work with here, something he can make happen. So let's see. And as the tanks come in, Clem has a decent surround. Obviously sieged up much sooner as well. Clem's getting a great fight on this. He's got Marines that want to go drop on top of these tanks as well, and he will get on top of them. Oh, it's an amazing fight from Clem. Absolutely beautiful fight from Clem. Couldn't have been better. Wow. Let's just look back. You know what? I want to look back at it, but I don't want to miss a game just in case the